Hey everybody, welcome to another World of Tanks replay. Sorry if I sound a bit off or cough into the microphone, I'm recovering from the flu at the moment. And here we have one of my first matches. In fact, I think this was my first match after the 9.8 patch in the IS-3, which now has a nice new HD model. Ended up top tier on Arctic region, East Spawn. You can see the HD model for the Hummel there as well. And I decided to go north. The enemy do have some decently armoured stuff, IS-3, T-32, Super Pershing, and some big TDs, so south doesn't really look appealing to me. I can rely on my heavy tank and tank destroyer teammates to hold that while I hold the north. Now, if you're a bit of a sensitive snowflake, you might want to avert your eyes from chat, as a wonderfully polite gentleman from Stars and Stripes decided to start shitting up chat, and I decided to see how badly I could antagonize him over the course of the match. So there are going to be some not pleasant things said. And here we go right away. If you are the kind of person who suicides their tank and deliberately tries to lose the game because of the nationality of the tank another player is driving, please just don't ever play this game again. In fact, why not march yourself off to the nearest nursing home and just be done with it? I don't know what kind of idiot it takes to assume that somebody is of the same nationality as the tank they play. I've actually had people use racist epithets against me because I played a Chinese tank before. I really just don't fucking understand what's wrong with the people on this server, but usually I just let it go. In this case, though, I could see this guy was going to be a gold mine, and so I decided to see how deep this rabbit hole runs. Quite deep, as it turns out. In the meantime, our leopards run up to attempt to spot. There's nothing actually lit yet, aside from the Chaffee here, and the Chaffee's not really putting any pressure on. So I get the impression that the north here is pretty undefended. Looks like the majority of the enemy heavy stuff went south, TDs and heavy tanks included. So this should be relatively safe. I decide to push on the Chaffee. He's obviously scared, so yep, he's got no support here, except artillery. Pretty quick shot into him, knock off most of his hit points. The Leopard moves up to get the finisher in. The Leopard's actually using the 5cm gun, not the 3cm autocannon. I still see a few 5cm Leopards. The autocannon's better in nearly every way. It has better AP pen, it is better at putting out damage, it's just an all-round better gun. Yourself and the Schmalturm move up. One of the Arty has taken a shot, but it's fallen well clear of me. However, my team's beginning to collapse in the middle and the south, because that's obviously the bulk of the enemy forces went. So I decide to scoot in behind the enemy, try and clean up anything they have here on base defense, maybe take the Arty if I can, and then head back towards my own base to try and pull a win out of this. It is looking pretty ropey, but it's doable so far. M12 gets lit. Unfortunately, RNG decides that today is not my lucky day, and so I shift my attention onto the 25-2 and begin looking at what I'm going to go for next. The Arty's behind cover, so I go for the Bulldog, who's busy clipping our light tanks. Bit of the old gravity assist gun depression there. I think that was actually a 304 round bouncing off the back of my turret. I don't have my usual damage panel mod, as you can probably tell, because it's broken. 9.8 fucked up a whole bunch of my mods, and I'm still in the process of trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. Enemy T-28 Protos up here in the middle. It's not really a strong position for a Proto to be in. Remembering its turret can only traverse 270 degrees, and our dear friend in Stars and Stripes is still mouthing off in chat. So I decide to prod him a couple more times. I'm not really in any desperate hurry to get this engagement over and done with. The Proto's clearly distracted by the STA-1, who has the mobility to get away from it. turns his attention to me and does get a shot in, but at this point he's pretty much done. Now, I don't want to ram him because he does weigh a fair bit, and the STA finishes him before he can get another shot in. For a moment here it looked like we were going to actually win by cap. Unfortunately for us, we got reset. You can see the ISU and the T-28 going back to defend their base, and also they do still have active arty. Our team has made a pretty good recovery here, at least on paper. The problem is that we're running out of hit points fast, and we only have an ELC on cap. Down goes the ELC, and now it's really not looking so good. It's just myself and two arty. One of the arty's about to die, the other one's not long for this world. Now I got a little careless here because it's actually typing. You can see I finished that sentence off quickly and start looking for shots on this IS-3. Now he makes a mistake here and backs up. He was actually covered for a second there. The dragon's tooth in front of him was screening his pike, but because he reversed out to get a shot, he actually exposed his pike flat onto me. Never a good plan in the IS-3. So that's him dealt with. Now I've just got to worry about a T-54 Model 1, an ISU, a T-28. VK's not really a problem for me, and speaking of devil, here it is. And then the arty, of course. Good old 122mm accuracy there. Now I am going to be a prime arty target at this point, so I've got to be careful. But at the same time, I can't really afford to move around and try and take shots. I need to let this gun aim in. Finish off the VK, who was not really a threat to me in the first place. Main issue was he was spotting me for the arty and that thing, which is on 1 hit point. My snapshot connects, which saves me from almost certain doom. And I decide to head over into the bowl here to try and give myself some cover and concealment while I try and figure out what to do next. Now, the T-54 Model 1, as I said in the replay that Rothmog sent me, it's not really that mobile. It's actually about as mobile as some of the faster heavies, so I don't have to worry about it pulling some tricky flanking shit on me, but at the same time, I don't want to go out and push and risk getting surrounded. They do still have the T-28 as well, and getting caught between those two vehicles would be very, very bad. I decided to check the south first, just to make sure it's clear, there's nothing pushing it. And I switched to APCR just in case the T-28 rounds the corner face first. Now, this guy is still going. I'd just like to point out that this great American patriot here is driving a German tank. What a surprise. Honestly, if I had more patience, I probably would have poked him after the game as well to see what other incredible fairy stories he believes in, but quite frankly, I didn't have the patience for it, and in any case, I was in no mood to after this match. T-54's actually crossed through the north, goes for our last arty. There's nothing I can do at this point, not that it would have mattered anyway. That AMX-13 was not likely to pull the game out. I'm kind of in a dodgy position here because I don't have the best gun depression. I am coming out into an open area up a ramp. Thankfully for me, the 54 Mod 1 is worried about exposing himself to my BL9 and is staying behind the berm between myself and Cap. Now, he does like me here, but he doesn't have a decent shot at me, and you can see me trying to keep some cover between myself and him. First the tank wreck, and then terrain. He rides up over the hill, I get a quick shot in. He gets one too, but it only tracks me. Now, I'm really worried about arty here, so I do try and keep moving. I repair my track as soon as possible. There goes the Artie. Can't afford to bounce off this guy, but I know I can finish him. It would have taken a minimum roll for me to fail to do that, or a bounce, of course. I do finish him off, and the Artie is still on reload. Decide to head north. Probably a mistake. I probably should have doubled back and gone through the south after getting unspotted, just to throw the T-28 off, but hindsight is perfect. The last time he was seen, he was sitting at 695 hit points. It's 2 shots for the BL9, assuming they both pen. Up to 6 kills already. This is a pretty solid match. 3,300 damage. You know, standard IS-3 fare. When you are top tier in the IS-3, this is what tends to happen. It's a very good tank at doing this kind of work. Don't want to cut through the middle, it's too exposed, so I swing up towards the north. Still no sign of the T-28, which suggests to me that he's actually pulled back into his own base and is trying to wait for me to come to him. With only 4 minutes on the clock, I don't really have time to try and bait him out. Of course, attacking into a defensively set T-28 is not a good idea. It's not fun, particularly when he's got Artie support and I do not. But again, because that clock, you know, 3 minutes 44 at the moment, I don't have the time to really do anything else. I'm just going to have to pick it up and run with it and see where it takes me. Now, I was thinking of swinging around the west track there, but I actually stopped and thought again. I figured he might see that coming, so I decided to run down here and take a look, see what I can find. This also gives me this rock here as cover, just in case he is in the middle of the map, or overlooking the middle of the map. Again, I don't want to move up the ramp to my right. It exposes me on 2 sides, so I stick to the low ground. The other benefit of this route here is that it should bring me within proxy spotting distance if he's up in the usual TD overlook at F4. Also makes it very difficult for the M12 to hit me. So with 2.5 minutes left on the clock now, I'm going to have to kill them. I could cap out, but I don't know, I'd rather finish them both off if I can. Unfortunately, not really the best approach here. Probably should have gone in through the northern fork in that canyon, because I'm now out in the open, completely exposed. And there we go. I don't back up quick enough, take the shell in the side, and down I go. Had I not pushed out so far, or had I taken that northern fork, which gives you a little more cover, I probably would have got away with that. He might have still finished me off, but I would have got at least one more shot in. There's a good chance I could have finished the game off with a win. But in any case, I think I did more than my part. Unfortunately, the rest of my team did pretty much nothing, not least of all our friend from chat, who is a fantastic diplomat for the Stars and Stripes clan, obviously. It really shows the highest standards of players that they recruit from. Normally, I don't rev people up in chat like that, but if they're being that obnoxious, why not? Like, I need to have my fun every now and then, and when you come across somebody who is actually delusional enough to believe the kinds of shit that guy was spouting in chat, it's like a moral obligation to fuck with them. I'm aware that probably makes me a terrible person, but, you know, shoot me. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Probably be playing a bit more of the IS-3 now. I quite like playing the tanks that have had their little HD updates. I don't know, it just adds something nice to the game. Makes it feel that bit more immersive, I guess. Gives you a bit more visual interest as well. Other than that, I've got a fairly decent backlog of replays to record. And then a couple of World of Warships matches, and then or interchangeably. This could go either order. I've got some replays from other goons as well, so I want to get through those at some point. It might take me a while. I've been without internet for about a week and a half, so I've kind of fallen behind when it comes to actually getting videos uploaded. But they'll be up eventually, so have patience, my friends. As ever, I wish you the best of luck in the field, and I'll see you on the next one.